I was planning not to watch Tandav, but then they said they were going to ban the show, and there was so much of noise around this show that I thought that before they ban it, I might as well just watch it. In the current climate, it's almost impossible to talk about this show without talking about all the controversies that have developed around this show. So addressing that first, I do think that the show does go a bit off the line. There was no need of linking the whole religious angle with the show and the story. If they did not have that one single scene, it would really had not made any difference to the story whatsoever. Also, we do need to understand if we need to refrain from coupling religion and entertainment, maybe we should do it. Akash Banerjee has made a fairly detailed video in which he has gone on to explain the 5 things that the show did wrong. So if you're interested in the whole controversy more, and if you want to know what actually is the whole fuss about, maybe you can watch that video. I'll share a link to that video in the description below. I do partially agree with what is being said in that video, and I partially don't agree with certain things that are being said, but honestly I really don't want to get into that discussion. I was able to binge watch this show in 2 days straight. In fact, yesterday I saw 2 episodes, and the rest of the 6 episodes I saw today. So it's a pretty watchable show, and it's quite entertaining as well. Dimple Kapadia looks amazing, and all of the other actors have done a very good job as well. The story is tight towards the end of the show, and especially in the last episode, the things kind of started to become too preachy, and it was too much of spoon feeding. So I didn't really like that, but it was a nice ending. So I do like how the show ended. I would have preferred if the whole story would have got a closed ending, but it was an open-ended show, and I think they, when they were writing it, they were planning more seasons, but from what I see, I don't think that we're gonna have more seasons of this show. And one thing which I found quite bugging was that throughout the show, after every 15 minutes or so, they just kept playing that song from Yuva over and over again. And the first few times it was fine, but after that it got really tiring. And I don't know why they did not develop their own background score. And the score that plays in the opening titles is actually quite nice, and they could have modified it and used it for the rest of the show as well. But for some creative reasons, they have not done that. The characters are well written, they are believable, and probably that's the reason why everyone is objecting on them, that they're reflecting certain people in a bad light, and that should not be. This statement I honestly find a little troubling, because because most of them are outright plain villains, and they don't even have different layers like a lot of other stories portray them. It's a power play drama. And then if I look at another example, which is Game of Thrones, that the set of books and the show, the characters are very layered. It was difficult. There would be certain times when you would go like, "Arey yaar," like maybe that character was not all that bad, but here you didn't really see that, and still people are linking those characters with certain people. But putting all these things aside, it shows a very dangerous and a very scary setup of political scenario and a social scenario. And I think instead of just shunning it away by saying that they've put it in a bad light and they're showing things in a bad way, I think people should look at it in ways like कि अरे यार ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए, अरे यार कहीं ऐसा ना हो जाए, because I very firmly believe we are not there, and that should be kind of a check. But it's very surprising to see how people are responding to it. A total of 8 episodes, with each episode averaging up to 35 or 40 minutes. It's fairly watchable. The first episode of the show starts with a very disturbing event, which kind of wants you to stop watching the show and still keep watching it at the same time. The story is paced well, and they do keep shifting timelines. Like they would show you something, and then they would show you a flashback and tell you how we've reached there. That kind of makes things more interesting and more pacey. And also, one thing which I enjoyed about the treatment was that so multiple set of characters. There's a story about a set of students and the elections that are going on in the university, and then there's this whole setup about national elections and who's going to be the next prime minister of the country. And somehow they've linked both of them. Things are going parallelly, and they cut from one setup to another, and then the story progresses together. That's not something new, but it was something which made the whole narrative interesting. The show does disturb you, it does scare you also at times, and it disgusts you. And because it is actually able to make you go through all these feelings, that says that it's a well-made show. Tandav is an entertaining show, but if someone sits down to watch it with the mindset of linking the show with our current realities around us, then I'm pretty sure that no one's gonna enjoy it. If you want to watch Tandav, just watch it as a show, as a story that's being told, and maintain your distance from it. Otherwise, maybe give it a skip. So, what have you guys been watching lately? Have you watched Tandav already? What are your thoughts and opinions? We can have a discussion in the comments below. Cheers.